In this video, we are going to look at some words that you can use in your IELTS writing. And then we are going to look at a very useful technique that will stylistically improve your writing. And it's a really good technique. It's really valuable because not even native English speakers, writers, know how to use this technique. Not always. I mean, if you're in the writing profession, you probably will know. But it's a technique that when you read it, when you see it, you're like, okay. But it's really easy to implement. So I'm going to do a screen share now, and then we will go straight into, let's see, into application window, and then we'll jump straight into it. Okay, so let's see, present to everybody. That's the schedule, but I'll switch it now. So here we are, words for IELTS writing. Now, the first word I want to share with you, just move that down there so you're not jumping ahead. The first word I want to share with you there is pivotal, okay? And especially pivotal role, because a pivotal role, when we use them together, it's a collocation. It sounds more natural, and it has a similar, also that's what I wanted to say, it sounds more natural, and plus there's less likely you make a grammar mistake because they're both together, and therefore you've just increased the chances of or reduced the chances of creating a grammar mistake, because maybe there's 9 words in a sentence. Now you've got two of those words grammatically perfect together. So just small details. Now, it means something similar to important, pivotal, and especially if we say a pivotal role, we can use it with regards to people or places, which is a topic that we can see quite frequently on the IELTS papers. So let's just have a look at how we use this. First of all, let's just have a look at this question. This is a recent question seen on a recent IELTS exam, so it's highly relevant, and we're talking about women, equality, and equality between the genders, equality for men and women. So immediately you can see I split the question into 2 parts, and I've allocated a paragraph to each part of the sentence. This way I know I'm going to get not more points, but full points regarding task response, because I'm not forgetting a certain part of the question. Let's go into it. So countless women throughout history have served pivotal roles in the shaping of societies. So I could say have played important roles, which is not too bad, okay? But pivotal roles means like very important, that they managed to pivot or to steer something in a society, especially the shaping of society. So this is why it's a really useful term to use. We could say London has had a pivotal role in the shaping of England. Yep. CO2 climate change has played a pivotal role in the shaping of the 21st century thinking. You see? So it's quite versatile, and it's a good replacement for something that we'll be using quite frequently, which is important. And the reason why we want to switch out important is because if we use it 3 or 4 times, the second, third, fourth time, we're not going to get any points. Whereas if we use a wider range, a wider lexical resource, a wider range of vocabulary, then there's more chance we're going to score higher. Also, we're not repeating the terms, and also it sounds more sophisticated and it's less common. And this is exactly what it says on the band descriptors, the official band descriptors. It says using less common vocabulary, and pivotal roles is definitely part of that. So let's move on to the next section, the next word, which is necessitating. Okay. Okay. So when we're saying necessitating, it's we can almost interchange it with needing. Okay. And once again, it's a very similar issue to what we just mentioned before. If we can construct a sentence with needing and then interchange it with necessitating, we've upgraded the lexical resource. And also, personally, I think needing is much easier to construct. It's much easier to construct a sentence with needing than it is necessitating. So first construct the sentence with needing, and then go back and interchange it with necessitating. Very importantly, as well, is to pay attention to using these words that I'm giving you now, to use them in context. If we don't use them in context, we're going to be losing points. So basically practice with these. Get some feedback on your essay. Write out 10 sentences with these phrases. Use the advice that I gave you about interchanging it with like less or with more common vocabulary, and get some feedback. Otherwise, you're not going to know whether you're improving or not. You can get feedback at IELTSPodcast.com. There's an essay correction section there, and it's 24 hours, so it's quite fast as well. Let's move on. Now, here, the final one is counterparts. Now, counterparts is another word for colleagues, for your colleagues or for your rivals or for your fellow competitors. And it's very useful in the IELTS essay, in your IELTS essay, because it's interchangeable. Well, no, sorry, it's not interchangeable, but you can use it. If you use it, it's forcing you to make a comparison. And when we're making comparisons, we're using higher level vocabulary. Okay? So we can see here, so as to reach similar levels of strength as their male counterparts. Here we've just made a comparison, and we would have picked up points for grammatical range and accuracy. Okay, whereby female soldiers undergo brutal sports regimes so as to reach similar levels of strength as their male counterparts. And the good thing about this is that counterparts is another one of those words that it's quite easy to incorporate into your essay, because even if we've got an essay about pollution, we can talk about scientists, and we could say something like numerous scientists and their counterparts have, which basically means in this context their colleagues, have for decades contended the effects of CO2 on the atmosphere. Just an example sentence there. So it's relatively easy once you get familiar with it and once you're aware of the ease of incorporating this word into your essay. Now, moving on, we're going to go to the final let's go to the final part. Let's just see where we are. Where is it? Sorry, just give me 2 seconds. Gotcha. Right, sorry about that. I was just wondering which window was being shared. Okay, so we are where I thought we were. That's fantastic. It's very relieving as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at stylistic improvement called parallelism. And the best way to describe this, okay, is to give you an example, well, to give you 2 examples or a few examples, the good and then the bad. So let's go. As you can see, I modified the sentence from the essay, and we're talking about, I'll start anyway. Although traditionally, roles such as security or positions necessitating aggression have often gone to men, there's no scientific literature are precedents stating women are less capable. Now, this is grammatically fine. It reads okay, and we've got a conjunction at the beginning. We've got some higher level vocabulary there. It's good. Now, what I'm recommending in this video is we're not correcting, but we are improving our writing capabilities. And as I said at the beginning, this is something that native English speakers and writers are not usually aware of. It comes from the writing profession. So here we've got security, oppositions, necessitating, aggression. It's fine. Let's make it better. How can we make it sound better? Well, we can chop these up, okay? And we can make it into a list of 3, which always sounds better than a list of 2. All right. Although traditionally roles such as positions necessitating aggression, strength, or fitness have often gone to men, there's no scientific literature. So it's here. It's 1, 2, 3, and all these qualities. Now, all these adjectives. Sorry, all these words then are in the singular form. I just 1, 2, 3, and it's much, much easier to read, and it sounds smoother. I'll give you a better example. Okay, so I'm going to switch it to cats, because talking about equality between men and women, and for this specific example, it could get a little bit out of hand, and it's not really the focus of this essay. So let's see. Perhaps one could argue cats are physically weak, smaller, and less intelligent. So can you see? We've got these adjectives, okay? And each time we've got it on its own here, or we've got it here, physically weaker, then on its own, and then we've got it with a what's it called now? We've got it modified by saying less intelligence. Okay, so it's like here 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You see, and now we can make it read and make it flow much better if we just say perhaps one could argue cats are smaller, weaker, and simpler. You see, and then put this on at the end, but it just flows and reads easier. And if your writing is flowing and reading easier, you're making the examiner's job much easier as well. Now they're not struggling, you're not creating reader strain, it's just a lot smoother. Next one. This is the second part of the sentence. But with modern fitness and science, nutritional supplements and hormones, those differences between species can be negated considerably. So once again, it's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. It's a bit of a mess, and it reads, and it doesn't read too good. So let's just read this sentence again. Perhaps one could argue cats are physically weaker, smaller, and less intelligent, but with modern fitness, science, and nutritional supplements and hormones, these differences between species can be negated considerably. So you can hear, if you've got a good ear for English, you can hear that this is like a muddy sentence. It's not difficult, and it's difficult and it does not flow. So one way we can modify this is that with modern fitness, science, nutrition, and hormones, okay, this is fine, assuming the modern applies to modern science, modern nutrition, and modern hormones. These differences can be negated. Or this is my favorite, but with modern fitness, nutritional supplements, and hormone modification, these differences between species can be negated considerably. So can you see, by using these stylistic elements, we are boosting the readability, and it just makes it easier. So this is just one element to try and incorporate into your writing. I would recommend doing this after you've written your essay and go back and try and improve it, obviously when you're practicing at home. And in the actual exam, perhaps just slow down when you're coming to introducing a list like this and consider the option of introducing parallelism, just to help the flow of the reading. And also, it's more advanced. You know, we could say nutrition, or we could say nutritional supplements. Hormone modification is much better than hormones. So this is why it's a higher level skill and definitely worthwhile introducing into your essays if you want to improve the flow of your writing. So thank you very much. Let's switch this back to my lovely mugshot, as we say. There we go. So thank you very much for watching. If you need any more help with your IELTS writing or with your speaking, if you have some speaking confidence, have a look at IELTSPodcast.com. We'll be more than happy to help you. My name is Ben Worthington, and thank you for watching.